Hello, Mary. I'm doing a short video for you on how I came to understand my connection to the Mantis Being. As far as I know, my first memory was it's time to go and be born now, and I was standing with the large being, which I call the guardian. And as far as I know, the guardian has always been with me in my higher consciousness. And as a young child, it was very instrumental in helping me to form my understanding of the world around me. I did not go to school until I was 4, and that was Sunday school, and I didn't start school until I was nearly 6. I never went to preschool or kindergarten. In my early childhood, my school was being transported with Mantis Being and two smaller beings which are in appearance like what people call the Greys. And we went to school on the craft. And the craft was a large circular room where the smaller craft took us, and there were other children in the room, and we were taught symbols, numbers, letters, many things. And I always took my blanket with me because I didn't like sitting on the cold, hard metal. When I was about 4, I began to realize that I did not see beings like this when I went to the supermarket or the shopping centers, and so I began to question a bit um, uh, the safety of going with this strange being. And the being then appeared to me as what was known as the Sunday school teacher. This is safe. The Sunday school teacher was safe, and often I just went to the library in my dream state, and the information which I needed to learn was available to me there. This continued up until I was about 15, and then I began to delve into the area of diet very strongly, and I was already doing diet consultations at the hospital where I worked in Florida. This progressed, and I was trying to understand my own metabolism. And in the early 80s, I was able to do a research project on childhood eating disorders, and the lady who was the ethics oversight for this project was also the guardian ad litem for a little child who needed a placement. And after that research project was done, the child was brought to my home, and I later adopted her. Her name was Sarah, and she was said to have severe autism, severe hyperactivity, and severe learning disabilities, that she would be unteachable. At age 11, when her adoption was completed, I was allowed to put her on a special diet, the same diet that I had developed for myself after researching even further into diet to understand the immune system of the autistic child. When I changed her diet, she awoke, and within weeks she was speaking, and within months she was asking to be baptized, to go to church, to explore the world, and ultimately she was going to college and engaged to be married. But right after she came to live with me, my children had an experience where I heard them screaming, and they came running down the stairs, and both my 7 and my 8-year-old were separated, and they drew the same picture. They drew a picture of the being that was looking over Sarah's bed at her. And this being was the picture they drew was the same picture that's on the cover of Whitley Strieber's book, Communion. The next day when I went to work, Sarah's social worker stopped by, and she had a copy of that book. When I borrowed it from her, as I read it, I was reconnected to the Mantis Being and the spirit of the Mantis Being, and how protective this spirit was in my life, how important it was to me in my life. And I later understand that Whitley Strieber wrote a book called Master of the Key, also about his encounter with the Mantis Being, And I feel strongly that the crop circles are the communication that the mantis and blue avian beings make with the people of Earth as they're trying to communicate with us for people, planet, peace, ascension process, and that the new children are often in need of some support with their diet and their environment, and we're here to help whenever we can. Was that better?
Yeah,